Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness. Another beautiful Saturday with my globies. Oh, I just feel like a new person. I tell you, I feel so good. And my brother got out of the hospital yesterday and is back home. So it's a good day in paradise. Let's see who's in here today. Hey, Caroline Hannah, first one in the house. Yes, hello, Globies, and happy Saturday. Did you moms have a good Mother's Day? I had a wonderful, wonderful Mother's Day. Oh my goodness. Starting Saturday when I went over my goddaughter's house and we had a wonderful oh, uh they ended up ordering food from one of my favorite places instead of cooking a surprise. It's one of the things they had, it's like a sushi burrito. I mean, it's like this big and this long. I mean, it's 2 meals plus other foods and oh my goodness, it was just and we watched, part of a movie and I was able to bring both dogs. Both dogs. I am I'll have to tell you a funny story about Mowgli. Remind me later on in the broadcast to tell you. But let me go over and say hello to everyone else. I said hello to Caroline. Vaughn's on a roll is here. Hello, hello, hello. Oh, Barry is in the house. Oh my goodness. Actually, you know what? Marta, you're the first one in the house, and Barry was right after. Two of my great moderators. Marta says, hi all, things are going up, up. Can't tweak my budget anymore. I'm 74. Marta, we're going to talk about that because it's really getting past just hardship for many people. It's getting into the danger zone. Danger meaning they maybe cannot afford their meds. Danger, maybe they can't afford rent. Danger, can't afford enough having to choose between food and other things. So yeah, we're going to talk about that and some things that folks are doing and some things to help you stay positive. I know that sounds ridiculous, but you know, to be struggling and then to be depressed, that would be kind of the worst combination. So we're going to talk about some of those things. But hey, Barry, good evening, Carol, Jess, and all the Royal Globies. I'm very glad Carol is going to entertain us on this upcoming live. This will be the best part of my week. Well, I am so glad you are in the house, Barry. You are one of the people that's very, very dear to me, as are all of my Globies, but you're especially a dear friend. Let's see, Vaughn's here. Miss Net, hello, another great moderator in the house, along with Nora. Oh my goodness, all my great moderators are here today. Let's see who else is in, who else. Everyone's saying hello. Hey, Patty from Missouri, now in Missouri, Ozarks. Now, are you guys over in that way? Are you anywhere near where you'd be getting tornadoes? Because I've been watching these. Whoo! I know people are saying there's no climate change, but what I'm seeing going across the country, the Midwest, it seems to be 10 times amplified from what it usually is. And this tornado season just seems to be not just the season lengthening, but the breadth of where tornadoes are hitting. Is it just me or is that really what's happening? That seems to be what's happening from what I can see, but let me know. You know what? I have two different earrings on. Do I have two different earrings on? Let me look and see. Hold on. I grabbed two orange earrings. Yep, two different earrings on. Oh gosh. Whew. Well, that tells you a little bit about how my day is going today, but I will get more into that. But you know what? Since I have taken this sabbatical from doing videos, it's amazing how things that used to really get to me don't get to me. Well, something like this wouldn't really get to me, but other things, and I'll tell you one of the things that normally would have been driving me batty, but it's not. And I attribute it to I'm having a total mental makeover, and that's a mental makeover. So you can see two. When I looked and I saw there are two different lengths, I was like, "What is going on here?" But that's what happens when you grab earrings on and don't look in the mirror. But oh my goodness. Hey Jackie, hello, hello. Welcome, Jackie McDonald. Um, let's see who else do I need to say. Marta says food going up because of gas, diesel cost to deliver it. Yeah, yeah, he doesn't care about our financial situation. I was doing some research for a video I'm considering doing, and one of the reasons that poultry, meat, eggs, and refrigerated things are going up so is that items that have to be refrigerated are typically delivered via trucks that run on diesel. According to the last research that I did, I was just, I'm just getting back into it. And, I like to research stories before I post them. Diesel has gone up 56 to 60%. So if diesel has gone up 56 to 60% on, food, on the delivery of refrigerated food items like dairy, eggs, meat, and those types of things, well, that's one of the reasons you can't have the cost of delivering food go up 60% and the cost remain the same, because grocers and grocery stores are going to be charged more. They're not going to eat it. They're going to pass it on to the consumer. And that's what is happening, Marta. And you're right, because of gas and diesel costs to deliver it, which is in great part attributable to Iraq and the breakdown of the supply chain, we're paying a lot more for food. I was in the store the other day, and I don't even look at steaks to buy them. I look at them out of curiosity to see what the price is. And I mean, we're talking about $40, $45 and up. It was just, and for small, there were two small little pieces of steak, and not even like porterhouse, our prime rib or things like that. You're right, Marta. It is going crazy, crazy, crazy. Hey, Stella Wonders and Wanders. Hello, hello. Yeah, Nora. When someone says, I try to stay out of politics the best that I can, but when someone says out loud to a reporter, I don't care about the cost of living, I thought I was beyond being shocked by anything, but it just, I don't even know what to say. I'm rendered speechless. If someone who is making policy doesn't care about the cost of living, then the cost of living, is not going to go anywhere but up, because that means that things aren't being done. If I don't care about something, I'm not going to monitor it, and I'm not going to try and fix it if I don't care about it. If I don't care about a relationship, I'm not going to work on that relationship. I'm not going to spend time wondering, what's going on with it. If I don't care about something, I'm not going to put my heart and effort into dealing with it. And I think that's the result that we're seeing. But I don't want to even get into a lot of that. But I want to talk to you about some things that can be done. But I especially want to talk to you about emotional factors that are tied to hard times, and how to deal with some of those. But everyone's saying hello, hello. Miss Net says, I totally agree. Patty says, happy to see you looking good and that Donald's doing well. Yes, he is. He's doing as well as can be expected. In fact, he's doing better than was expected, and that's because he's putting a lot of work in. Now that he's home is when the real hard work is going to be on rehabbing and getting back to where he was. So, yeah, I know, Vaughn. Woohoo for Don. Yeah, You don't know how, you don't know what a relief it is off my mind that he's gonna be okay. Martin, it says my AAA plus membership is now up to 100. Really? $116. Oh boy. I gotta see, mine renews in August, so I gotta see what it goes up to. Oh my goodness. Well, I need it because I had to get towed, 2 weeks ago. I had to get towed, so I need my AAA. When I was talking to the guy, he said that tow would have cost me about over 200 and some, $250, 200 and some dollars. So yeah, and it didn't cost me anything other than my membership. So yeah, Martin, these are things that are necessities, especially for a single woman, and especially for someone who's traveling across the country and are in remote areas where maybe there's not a gas station nearby or something you can get to nearby, and you need to call for help. That's really a necessity, you know? Hey, Randy from North Carolina is in the house. Well, hey, Miss Net's in the house and she's from North Carolina. So you guys are being represented from North Carolina. Hey, Lindy, I haven't talked to you in a minute. I've got to call you today because I haven't I'll tell you guys, I haven't watched any YouTube van life, any of those videos and channels that I normally watch. I haven't been communicating. I have just totally checked out. And I was talking to my very good friend Diane, who ran the women's RTR at the RTR this past year, and we were talking about how sometimes you just have to check out. And after you do, based on how you feel, sometimes you don't realize how much stress you're under until you remove yourself from that stress and you see the difference. And it's like, wow, I didn't realize that I was so close to a collapse. But anyhow, yeah, I am doing good, and I'm going to give you a call, Lindy. Caroline says, yes, Nora, and he said that in so many words the other day. Yeah, that's what was said. What can you do? But we can support each other. That's what we can do. Hi, Possum Stops. Howdy, everyone. Hello. Hey, Iris at Three Generations. Yes, I was just telling Randy you're in North Carolina too, Miss Net. Nora says, Caroline, none of it should be a surprise. Yeah, I don't think, well, okay. I'm not surprised that that might have been the thought or the thinking, but I am surprised that it was said out loud. I have to admit that. What can I say? Hi, Silka. Hello. Everyone is saying hello to everyone. Patty says, have some storms around here, but we've been fine. Tornado Alley is shifting. Yes, Tornado Alley is shifting. What's up with that? It is expanding tremendously and rapidly, not just, over years, but like in one season, it has changed. That's scary. Miss Net saying hello to everyone. Patty says, don't feel bad about earrings. Once I wore two different shoes to church. Same style, one from new pair, one from old pair. Well, once my ex wore two different colors. They were wingtips. He used to wear wingtips. He wore one brown and one black. He and went to work, didn't realize he got dressed in the dark and didn't realize he started wearing wingtips because he always liked two things about my dad. He liked a clean car on the inside and outside, and he liked nice shoes. Two things about my ex. His car used to always be a wreck, and he used to wear the cheapest shoes. And my dad really just got on his case one day. He goes, what kind of man drives around in a car looking like this? To my ex, he goes, you got to do better. Well, from that point on, especially anytime he was around my dad, his car, he would be vacuuming and cleaning his car out. And then he went down the next week and bought two pair of wingtips. Now, at that time, this was like 30 years ago, those were $100 a pair of shoes. I said, he didn't tell you to do that. He just said, get some decent shoes, maybe Florsheim or something, not these cheap shoes that when he would walk too far, he would be kind of limping because they were cramping his feet. But anyhow, yeah, yeah, so we can all appreciate that, Patty. I'm keeping my earrings on to remind me not to get upset about the little stuff. So I'm gonna keep them on today. Carrie said she's so stylish. Yeah, with my mix match earrings. But you know what? I'm letting things go off my back. And in fact, I'm going to tell you about something. Whew, okay. You guys know I got little Mowgli. Well, since getting Mowgli, my backyard was just overrun. It looked like a jungle back there. It looked like it looked worse than a jungle. Okay. And I mean, weeds everywhere. That I have a big bank that was full of weeds. You couldn't even hardly walk in my backyard. I would just open the door, stand on the patio, but you couldn't walk. You couldn't walk past the patio. So I thought, okay, I'm getting this little dog, and he's going to need some room to run because I can't take him out for walks like I can Cuddles because he didn't have all his shots. So he needed room to run in the backyard. So I hired some gardeners to come over, and I got several estimates, and I mean the estimates were in the thousands. My front yard was a nightmare too, and my neighbors were going a little berserk over that. And we have an HOA here, so I was like, okay, let me just my one neighbor posted gave me a card for his gardener because everyone on this block and around the corner, everyone for blocks around has gardeners except for me. I didn't have a gardener. I was doing it myself, and that's why my yard looked the way it was. So I hired these. They gave me the best price, which was still very high, to do the front and backyard. Sometimes you get what you pay. Well, a lot of times you pay for, and I went cheap with the cheapest route. And the guy that I got one of the estimates from, who worked on a friend's yard, was about, and this shows you how high it was. He was $3,000 higher. And I was like, there's no way. There's just no way, no way, no way. So, but he has a crew, and he would have come in and he would have got this all done within 2 days. It's now been a month, maybe more. Maybe it's probably been about 6 weeks. Right now, my front yard is tore up. It has a huge, and I mean huge amount of mulch in my driveway. Half the yard is done. The other half is not done. The backyard is, I mean, now when they were here, they worked, and they worked hard. I mean, they worked hard. They worked steady. They were here sometimes till 7:30 at night. I mean, but because they would come, and first time they had a little trailer, so it wasn't big enough to put the stuff in, so they couldn't get half the stuff. I mean, they just had to make trip after trip, and then they couldn't get his workers to come, so it was only him. And oh gosh, it was just, so now they're supposed to come back last week, and they have not returned. Then they're supposed to come today, so I waited all morning. Didn't come. So I'm going to have to hire someone else to finish the job. So meanwhile, I'll have to, maybe I'll do a video on it and show you. So I'm going to have to buy a wheelbarrow because I've got to get this mulch out of my, I got to get it off my driveway because I have homeowners. I'm going to get written up again. So the moral of the story is sometimes the cheapest thing actually costs you the most. Maybe not always in money, but definitely in aggravation. So what would have been a 2-day job is now turned into a month or longer job. Well, actually probably 6 weeks or longer. And me getting written up from the homeowners, and me having a nightmare in front of my house and backyard. I have a lot of the stuff that's been cut down that is still there, has not been removed. Oh, it's just, I don't even want to go into it. It's just, whoo. But anyhow, you know what though? I walk back there, and normally I would be like steam coming out of my ears. I would be like levitating off the ground every time I walk by. But I'm like, I'm like, okay, you know what? It is what it is. I have to come up with plan B and deal with it. And that's how I'm doing it. So, which is a lot different than I would have been had I been before my break and before my organizing my mind. So you can change. I guess that's what I'm saying. You can change and you can remove all the stress, and a lot of the stress is self-induced, and you can take that stress away by David Jeremiah was a well-known pastor, and he used to say 90% of how things turn out are how you respond to it, and only 10% is based on what happened. And so I'm doing 90% of how I'm responding to this situation and 10% of what the situation is. Now, that's not always the case, but I am working on it. So I'm a work in progress still. At 73, still a work in progress. So everyone is saying hello. Three Generations says, gee, our eggs just got back down to 149 per dozen. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about. Glad you brought up eggs, Iris. Uh, Lindy says, thank you, Silka. What did Silka say to Lindy? Did I miss that? Um, oh, yeah. Silka said, hello, Lindy. I love your channel. Yes, go over and check out Lindy. Has a new channel, Lava Lindy. Go over and check her out. She explains a lot about what has happened to her old channel, but she's rebuilding her new channel. So do go out. And actually, what you can do to help, just run her playlist. Just put it on and let it run all the way through. Everyone over here, if you'd go over and do that to get her views up and getting monetized again and everything going, if you could do that, that would be a big help. And it doesn't cost you a dime. You don't even have to spend time. You can just put the TV or whatever your thing is that you watch on, and just let it run. Hi, Krista. Oh, hi, Christy. I didn't say hello. I didn't see you. Hello, hello. Um, let's see, who else have I missed? Anyone? Hey, Donald's in the house. Hello, Donald, my brother. Oh, I'm so happy that he is here. And I got to give him a call today too. Yes, yes, yes. Everyone's saying hello to Donald. Gary says window shopping the meat section. Yes, that's what most of us are doing these days, and I'm going to talk about that too. Um, Caroline Hannah. Yep, that's what was said. Nora says an empty vessel. What is status is all the, yeah, allowing this to happen. Yeah, you know, things can only occur when good people are silent. And I would have to question actually how many good people we now have, that are in elected office right now. I don't know. You know, the ones that are trying to stand. It seems that the people who now are standing up for the little guys, and for not just little guys, but for average people, seem to be under really vicious attack. You know, if people who say, "Hey, let's look about what we're going to do," and let's take care of people who are suffering. Those people seem to be very unpopular right now. Tell me why, because I can't figure it out. But it is what it is. But hey, 63 clocks. Hello, hello. Lindy saying hello to Donald. Glad she's doing much better. Yes, definitely, Lindy. So glad to hear. Yes, me too. Me too. 63 clocks. Jackie says I closed my T-Mobile account. So do you not have a phone anymore, Jackie? What are you doing? Marta says I have AAA plus, one level up from regular AAA. Yeah, I have AAA plus too, Marta, and it saved me $1,200 on a tow I had about a year or so ago. Hey, Rose Grace, how's it going? Um, Uh, Diane, hello, Diane. Oh my goodness. Caroline, it says, good to see Miss Glow. I'm glad to be here. Glad to see you too. Linda, hello, Linda. I'm thinking, am I saying Janice is in the house? Uh, yeah, well, when anyone tells you who they are, Janice, believe them, you know. But a lot of times, here's the thing, a lot of times, and one thing I will say about that individual, he told lot of people what he was going to do. So a lot of things that he's doing should not be a surprise because he said, this is what I'm going to do. Now, a lot of things like the war and stuff, no. Food prices, no. But some of the things he did say, this is what I'm going to do. And people, I don't know, do people not believe it? I don't know. I can't explain. I don't know. Lindy says earthquakes in Nevada. What? California volcano activity, Philippines, etc. It is changing. Yes, it is changing. And anyone says that there is not climate change, I don't know how anyone can hold on to that position anymore that there's not climate change with what we're seeing. You'd have to tell people not to believe what they're seeing as far as weather reports in order to try and justify that. Don't believe your lying eyes. I don't know. I just don't know. Earthquakes, wow, wow, are going crazy lately. Vons, I didn't know about that, Vons. Oh my gosh. That's even more reinforcement that we have climate change. I wonder how far it's going to go. I know that in Montana and some other places there have been storms, and in some places in the middle of the country there have been lightning strikes and huge um forest fire or brush fires and huge fires that have been ignited. Yeah. Patty says if we ever had the privilege to ride in my dad's truck, the first thing he did was handed you a dust cloth to wipe the dash on your side. Oh my goodness. Uh, Miss Ned says, "Oh wow, I don't watch news. It's too depressing, so I wasn't aware of the earthquakes. I wasn't aware of the earthquakes either. I haven't been keeping up as much. I've been watching, on the financial stuff, but I haven't been watching and weather, but I didn't see about the earthquakes. Wow. Yeah, Nora, written up again. I know. The rebel of the HOA. I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, written up again. What can I say? So I had to do something. So we'll see. Martin says I follow news. Volcanoes are erupting all over the world. Wow. Uh, Nora, the HOA rebellion. Yeah. Well, I can only rebel so far because they can it's amazing how much power an HOA has. They can fine you, and if you don't pay, they can eventually put a lien against your property. Do you believe that? Yeah. Big mistake. Big mistake buying into a community with an HOA. It was a huge mistake. But hey, I've been here 40 some years, so I'm not going to leave now. So Marta says, I listen to David Jeremiah on Christian radio. Yeah, he has a lot of good word, Marta. And that's one of the things that he says about 90% of what happens, the outcome is how you respond. And I'm working on my response. Uh they're talking sun flares right now. What is a sun flare, Lindy? I haven't heard of a sun flare. What is a sun flare? Catherine Fabulous 60 says, "Hi guys, sorry I'm late. You're never late. You're always on time if you're in the house at all." Catherine 63 Clock says, "It's good news that eggs have come down, but I can't afford gas to drive to the store." Oh my goodness, wow. Catherine Fabulous 60 says, 63 clocks for sure. Hey Sylvie, nice to see you too. Uh, Vaughn says, Lindy, and possibly getting a super El Nino this winter too. Yes, I've heard that we may be getting a super El Nino. I wonder what that's going to look like. Carolyn saying hello to Donald. Yes, God bless you. Thank you, Carolyn. Everyone's saying hello. Catherine Fabulous 60 says, if I never understood how anyone can support what's going on, I mean, oh yeah, the ballroom. Well, the rich are getting rich. I mean, if you look at Jeff Bezos, here's what I find is so offensive with a Jeff Bezos type of person. He, from all accounts that I've seen, I'm not an expert, but this is what I believe is true. I'm not saying it's absolutely, but I believe it is. Made billions, and I mean billions, reportedly during COVID. And then afterwards, you hear reports of people at Amazon being laid off. I'm sorry, but if you make billions, can't you afford to let people stay in their jobs or make adjustments that the people who have helped to support you and got your packages out and help you to make billions, can't you then turn around and support them? What I see is so many people who become very, very wealthy on the backs of others, then discard the people who helped them to get where they got to. I just can't understand how people can be that cold hearted. I just don't understand it. I really don't. Um yeah. Hey, Graham's in the house from Australia. Good day, Graham. Good day. Uh hi Poppy. Hello, hello. Okay, Lindy, I'll see you next time. Take care. Um uh Blessing Femnim says, blessings, everyone, and glow. You are glowing. I feel like I'm glowing. I tell you, I feel so much better. Who knew I needed this kind of break? Jackie says, family in Oregon had a free phone line, so they gave it to me. Wow, that is fabulous, Jackie. I'm happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that, Jackie. Um, thanks, Miss Net, for dropping Lindy's link. Thank you. Feminine says climate change or weaponized weather. I don't know. That's an interesting question. Interesting question. Uh Thank you, Vaughns. Yes, if you folks can leave a thumbs up, I would really, really appreciate. Uh oh, Jackie, bye everyone. Off to my new hire part-time job. All right, Jackie, we'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. Martin says a solar flare is a reflectively intense localized emission of electromagnetic radiation in the sun's atmosphere. Okay, well, I don't understand that, but okay. Something about magnetic radiation from the sun. Whew, things are getting weirder and weirder, aren't they? My chat just went blank. If you can see my chat, put a thumbs up because I'm seeing my chat. I'm still live. So if you guys still see me, could you let me know by putting a thumbs up? Hey Enoch. Oh my goodness, we're going to be coming over to Grace one day to visit you soon. Probably not this weekend, maybe Memorial Day weekend. I don't know. But Enoch Vasquez, editor, videographer, my hero, helped me start my channel. Hello, Enoch. So good to see you. Um, uh, Martin says, true, Carol. Sylvie says, apparently Amazon treated its employees like robots, and now they're moving to just using robots. Isn't that something, Sylvie? Isn't that something? Vaughn says, Nora, nothing like waving goodbye to someone 10 minutes after they leave. Oh my goodness. You had a concussion? Oh my gosh. How are you doing? Let me see if I can drop a link and see if you guys want to meet and talk to. Let me see. Um let's see. Uh see, how do I add people? Okay, copy. You know, guys, no, I haven't been doing this in so long, I've almost forgotten how to do all this stuff. Paste. Okay, I have a link. If you want to come up and say hello, Enoch, please do. Uh, Hit that link that I just dropped. It says StreamYard, and I will bring you up. Okay, Vaughn, only your chat disappeared. Okay, all right. I wanted to talk briefly about some things. I've been doing some research on just some different ways to, first of all, to save money on groceries. And one of the things is substituting lentils and beans for meat. And I'm going to do that. One of the things I did is I got a smoked ham hock, but those used to be like $2.98. They're now like $6. But I got one of those and I cooked it in a huge pot of lentils with bay leaves and seasoning. So it's a little bit of meat and a lot of that, and then some fresh vegetables. And one of the things that I find that is a good substitute for meat, in addition to lentils and beans, is garbanzo beans, because they have a lot of the texture of meat. I want to try and see if I can make a meatloaf using garbanzo beans. I wonder, an egg. So that it was saying substituting eggs, lentils, and beans for meat. And this is an interesting thing. It said you can take pictures. I haven't figured out how to do it. Maybe someone can teach me on here. You can take pictures of that and then go onto AI and show that, and they will come up with recipes for you to use making those items, like substituting them for meat. So has anyone used AI to do that, to come up with recipes to substitute things for meat? I'm interested and curious. I would think avocados maybe could be substituted for meat. Avocados and eggs, garbanzo beans. What do you guys think? Um, that's just what I'm wondering about. Yeah, I hope. I'm just wondering, is that. Let me go back to the comments real quick. Smith says, "Have you found a location for the tiny home community?" I have not, but a real estate agent just sent me a property last week that I'm going to look at. But I think I may have shared it with you. There's a property. It's so far beyond my affordability, but I believe that that's the property God is saying is for me. So I'm going to pursue it, or at least check into it and find out who owns it. And here's what I'm wondering. I know this sounds really crazy, but I'm wondering if they could, maybe, depending on if it's a big corporation, maybe they could donate it to my nonprofit and take a tax write off. I know that sounds far fetched, sounds crazy, but you know what? If that's my property, God's going to open a way for me to get it. So I'm still looking at other things, but I just truly believe He said to me that's my property for the tiny house community. But we'll see. We'll see. Smith. Um, yeah, I certainly hope everything is okay with Enoch, and I'm going to be checking on him for sure. Gary says, "This is the season my radio has problems with station clarity. I think it's solar flare ups." Wow. That's, oh my goodness. Yeah, Vaughn, no, I have not found it yet. Um, Vaughn said, "My garbanzo beans always end up as hummus." Yeah, well, that's good. That's a great way for them too, Vaughn's. But yeah, I'm interested. Well, you guys all know, most of you who are OGs around here know that I started off my channel as a cooking channel for people living in vehicles to make expensive, easy meals. And, at that time I was able to use meat a lot. But I think I'm going to see about trying to go on AI, and I'm going to have my goddaughter's husband show me because I don't know how to do it. But come up with some recipes substituting things for meat. I just would like to see how you guys think a garbanzo bean meatloaf would turn out okay. What do you think? Um yeah, so it's feminine post. Yeah, I'm going to try it. I'm going to. Hey, Miss Gigi Land. Hello, hello. Thanks for being in here. Good to see you. Uh Tofu can substitute for meat. I've had tofu, but I haven't really liked the taste of the tofu. Maybe I just haven't had the right tofu, Stella. I don't know. Nora says I try not to use AI. How come, Nora? Oh, here it is. I hate it and I hate what it's doing to us. Well, we're not going to have a choice. You know, I hate that we have to do so many things online monetarily, like banking and stuff, and I'm resisting as long as I can, but I know I'm going to have to eventually break down and do it. But with AI, there are some good uses for AI, and there are a lot of bad uses. But I think going on and trying to use the recipes, find recipes, I think that would be a good use, and I'm going to try and do it. Stella says, "Oh, yes, Stella, mushrooms. Mushrooms can substitute for meat as well as walnuts." Now, I didn't know about walnuts, but I have used mushrooms. Yeah, I've done a mushroom lasagna, and it was delicious. I wonder about a mushroom and garbanzo bean lasagna. Hmm. But cheese is very expensive too now. So I'm wondering, hmm. Tomato sauce is still pretty cheap. Although I saw a thing the other day, and I may do a video on this, I may not, I don't know, but this person who has a deli or a small restaurant in San Diego was talking about how tomatoes used to be $25 a case. And she puts tomatoes in sandwiches and everything. And she was saying how they had since gone up to over $200 a case or something like that. I'll have to look at my notes. Let me see if I can find my notes. I'm not going to look at my notes right now. But yeah, they had gone up just some outrageous amount. It's either $200 a case or 100, maybe it was $187 a case. I think it was $187 a case, from $25 to $187 per case. So can you imagine if other things, food items are going up like that? So I think being creative about substitutes for meats is going to be the way to go. Also, with the cost of diesel, farmers have to use diesel, and the cost of fertilizer has gone so much that all of this stuff that they're doing, to raise cattle and stuff, meat prices are just astronomical. But here's the one thing that it said demand for beef was still very, very strong despite the high cost of it. Isn't that interesting? Despite the high cost of it, it was still very strong demand. But yeah, Stella, I have used mushrooms, especially the larger mushrooms, for meat substitute, and it was delicious, absolutely delicious. Thanks, Smith. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Vaughn says, "Okay, what do you mean substitute meat in a nutritional way or a texture kind of way?" I'm talking about texture. Um, as far as nutrition, I'm thinking protein, eggs, if you can mix eggs with it. Now, I used to do a breakfast casserole that I would have like potatoes and bacon and sausage and eggs and I had hash browns, potatoes, sausage, and ground sausage and bacon in. I'm wondering if I could substitute garbanzo beans, season them real well, substitute excuse me, that for mashed garbanzo beans and cook them like I would the ground sausage with seasoning, and then add that mushrooms and excuse me, I don't know why I'm sneezing here, with still the hash brown potatoes and maybe a little cheese, not a lot of cheese, instead of cheese throughout, just a little sprinkling of cheese on top and with eggs in it. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that maybe tomorrow and see how it turns out. I'll let you guys know. I'll let you know. Um, because Vaughn says, because I don't see an avocado tasting like beef. Well, I'm looking at the texture, but it's amazing what you can do though, Vaughn, with seasoning. With a lot of the seasoning, you can really a add taste to things that and make it taste very differently. But yeah, I was talking about texture, mainly texture. Catherine says, anything is possible with God. You're right, Catherine. I just keep holding out for that property. I drive by it at least a couple times a week, and I think that I've walked the property. I've walked all around it, claiming it. I'm like, God, if this is mine, I'm claiming this, and we'll see. We'll see. Patty says, my daughter goes through vegetarian phases and makes beef tacos. I am not a fan. So beet tacos. No, I don't think I would be a fan of beet tacos. No. I can't imagine being a fan of that. But mushroom tacos with garbanzo beans and some other stuff, maybe even like a California burrito, you know how they put potatoes in it and stuff, and mushrooms and garbanzo beans and avocados with a little bit of sour cream. I think I'm going to try that. I'll test it out on Jess because she, is a real good judge of good food. So I'm going to start trying some of these and see how it turns out, and I'll let you guys know. Yeah, thank you, Feminine. Thank you. Miss Kiki Land, I'm just not giving up the faith. I believe he is going to find a way. Marta says, no fake meatloaf for me. You can stretch ground beef by adding more bread as filler. Also use a muffin pan to make mini meatloaves. Now that is true. You can use a muffin pan for mini meatloaves, Marta. That is true. Vaughn says solar flares can knock out cell phones and electricity as well, I believe. Really, I just don't really understand about solar flares. I'm going to have to do some more research. Hi, Carol Clover, my good friend. Oh my goodness, how are you doing? So good to see you and all the good news. Oh, I haven't talked to you in a while, Carol. Oh, Carol and her yellow bus. Carol was, I think, the first really big video tour I did on my channel when I first started out. Was the first departure from cooking. Carol and her psychedelic yellow bus. Oh my goodness, it's so good to see you in the house, Carol. Another person I need to call. All these calls I need to make. Oh my goodness. Stella says you have to season tofu or otherwise it's bland. Yeah, the tofu I had probably wasn't seasoned very well. Muskegee Land says mix meat with potatoes. It will stretch and it's cheap. That's true, Muskegee Land. Instead of using a whole pound of ground beef, just use a quarter of a pound. So you get the taste and you get a little taste but you also get the volume to fill you up. That's true. That's what Marta was saying. Stretch it some. Catherine says husband is a vegetarian. He says you need to know how to cook tofu. I'm sure you do, because the tofu that I tasted, I didn't make it, but it was, I was trying to figure out how to get it back in my hand and out, without being obvious from out of my mouth into my hand, because it was terrible. Yes, feminine AI can be used. It can be used for good. Sylvie says mushrooms are a great substitute for meat, and I eat those giant portobello caps like steak. Yes, those giant portobello caps. I wonder how those would be filled with potatoes and maybe just a touch, just a teaspoon of ground beef with potatoes and garbanzo beans. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna start experimenting and let you guys know how it works. Graham says, I got a job at the local bank the other day, but only lasted a few hours before I was sacked. Someone came in and asked me to check their balance, and I pushed them over. Oh, Graham. Graham's back in the house. Oh, my goodness. That was a pretty good one, though, Graham, I have to admit. And Gary says, enhancing oligarchs' wallets. Yeah, that seems to be what's happening. Bezos, Musk, all of these uber rich people are getting more uber rich. Isn't it something? Vaughn says, feminine, true, AI can be a help or hindrance. Yes, it can. Catherine's laughing at Graham's joke. Smith says, most canned food prices are increasing due to tariffs. Yeah, a lot of things are increasing due to tariffs. I'm wondering what's going to happen with electronics because China is now hovering over Taiwan, and our semiconductor parts come from Taiwan, the majority of them. That's the capital, and if China controls that, we could be in real trouble. Parts that go into probably the electronic automotive, well, in automotive, I would imagine. I don't know, but in computers, phones, I, I mean, I don't know. I would hate to be at the mercy of China, wouldn't you all? I mean, I just don't know. Yeah. Feminine, and the cost of fuel affects plastics, which is made out of fuel, so it's affecting packaging, which is affecting. Yep, yep, yep. It is. It is. Sylvie says yes, and I'm looking for the supply chain disruptions to show up as scarcity and price hike in the canned goods sector. Yeah, I'm looking for that to happen too, and in aluminum, and in a lot of things. Um, that I did a while back. I shudder to think what the price would be now. A while back, though, I bought a supply of that 25-year food. Um, I just thought, let me have this on hand just in case, who knows what's going on. And I have stocked up on canned foods, but yeah, I don't know. I've stocked up on rice and beans and lentils, but I'm going to stock up some more on beans and rice and lentils because, you know, what can I say? It's, we need to have food. I was going to my goddaughter has chickens, but she lives an hour away, so to drive there to get the eggs, it just wouldn't make sense. But I was going to get some chickens for eggs and even for chicken, but with the coyote, those of you who I was telling about last week, the coyote that was standing on my fence last week up there, or sitting on my fence for an hour, according to my neighbor. He was watching. He said the coyote was sitting on my fence for a good hour, my back fence. I'm not going to do chickens, because if I do chickens, then that means I will attract the coyotes coming after the chickens. So they're already scouting out poor little Mowgli. So yeah. So that plan's gone down the drain. So we'll have to see. I don't know. We'll have to see. Um, Vaughn said, Graham, I'm not going to stand outside. If anyone asks, I'm outstanding. Graham says, I explained to my granddaughter that I used to be able to go to the shops for $10 and come back with bread, milk, and eggs. She said, you can do that anymore, Poppy. They have CCTV everywhere. Okay, Graham. Okay. But yeah, it's getting challenging. So I think I'm going to start working on some recipe. Well, not think I'm going to start working on some recipes, not only for you all, but for me too, to see how to reduce grocery costs. I one of the things that I did stop doing, I stopped shopping in regular grocery stores. I primarily now shop at grocery outlet. Um, no more Safeway, Vons, those kind of Ralphs, those kind of stores. I do go into Trader Joe's sometimes because sometimes they have good prices on certain things, but mostly, primarily, I'd say 80% of my shopping is from grocery outlet, about 10% from Walmart, and about 10% from Costco. The things that I can buy in bulk, like beans and stuff that will last, and that if even if I get a large supply, it won't go bad. So that's it, pretty much. Occasionally, I'll look in Aldi, but I find grocery outlet has the best prices. And occasionally, I might go into a Winco if I'm there, but I'm not going to drive out of my way. Grocery outlet, I have several that are on the way or to places that I go to. So, Silka says the fam cookbook has vegan recipes if you can find it. Okay, I'll look for that. Thank you, Silka. Um, Nora says tempeh is really good and has nice texture. I haven't heard of tempeh. Hmm. Made from soybeans, I believe. Not sure of it. It's cheap though. Tempeh. Let me take a picture of that. Uh, oops, Nora, so I can try that. Tempeh. Hmm. All right. Let me get this. Um, Let me make a picture of this tempeh. Tempeh. What? Huh, is that a grain, Nora, or is it like the texture of rice or something, or is it a meal? What texture is that? Oh yeah, Sylvie, fish tacos are yummy. Silka says, how about textured vegetable protein as a substitute for hamburger meat? I don't know. I'll have to try that. I haven't tried that, Silka. I don't know. I'll have to see about that. Stella says, spaghetti with zucchini, walnuts with marinara sauce. I made a lasagna with zucchini and mushrooms and other stuff, and it was absolute, and squash, yellow squash. I made it for a friend who's a vegetarian, and he just flipped over it. It was delicious. So yeah, that spaghetti probably also with walnuts. I'll try that, Stella. Uh Feminine Info says, "Oh wow, this podcast is making me hungry. It's making me hungry too." And yes, lentil tacos. I want to try that. I want to try lentil tacos with garbanzo beans and avocados. I want to try that, Gary. The other thing, and I'm going to have to go because I got to go pick up Jess, but Muskegee Land says Carrington event around 1857 massive solar flare. Huh. Okay, I hadn't heard of that. Smith says California burritos actually sounds really good. Are they meatless? No, they have meat in them. Usually they have like carne asada or something, or ground beef, but I think usually carne asada with avocados and um cheese on top, salsa, sour cream, potatoes in it. They usually have diced potatoes in it. It's really good, really, really, really good. But yeah, um, uh, oh, Sylvie says tempeh is very nice brown. I'm gonna have to try it. I've never heard of that. Nora says tofu is great in Chinese stir fry. It absorbs whatever flavors surround it. Okay. Okay. Oh, Vaughn says portobello mushrooms are good instead of hamburger buns. Now, I like that idea because I'm trying to cut down on bread. Elsa says all these stuffed baby Bella cap spinach and artichoke cheese. Most 6 count, 3.99, 3 meals for me cut in tiny wedges into greens and onto greens. Ooh, I'll have to try that. I haven't seen that. Let me make a picture of that too. So, stuffed Bella cap spinach. Okay. Well, I am after I get my yard squared away, I have decided I'm going to do some raised beds, not flower beds, but raised beds. I want to put some spinach in it, some green beans, tomatoes, um uh and some other some different squashes, and I think I want to do some watermelons and other melons. So we'll see. We'll see. And I'll let you guys see how it turns out. I may make my own boxes. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but we'll see. Uh 63 Clock says, now that eggs are back down, I'll be looking for more egg recipes. Yes. Baked potatoes stuffed with broccoli and cheese has been a great meal for me to replace meals. Yeah, baked potatoes is a good one with broccoli. And yes. And how about baked potatoes with chopped up mushrooms? Chopped up seasoned mushrooms and broccoli, or baked potatoes with broccoli and zucchini, seasoned real well. Gary says, if you can afford mushrooms, you can afford meat. It depends, Gary, because some of the mushrooms aren't very expensive. Now the big ones can be, but some of the other mushrooms are not really expensive. And I've seen canned mushrooms, especially at Costco, that are pretty affordable. Although I haven't seen them lately. But I did buy a big pack of canned mushrooms, and it was very, very affordable. I wonder if they still have them. I'll have to check that. Cheryl says he will give it away, so I'm just so sad from it all. I'm not sure what's giving away, but uh yeah, we are at China's mercy to some extent, Cheryl, but nothing like we will be if I'm saying when, because I think it's inevitable at this point, because they've already said they're going to take Taiwan over by force if necessary. And if they don't get the weapons bill signed to give them the weapons we were supposed to be selling to them, um, it's just a matter of time. Yeah. Uh, all right. Well, folks, I've got to go cook nice in foil air fry. Yeah, air fry. I love air fry. I love my air fryer. Um, All right. Graham says I got 2 lamb fries from the butcher and some bacon for $5 each. I didn't work as good as the bridesmaid Rachel does for me, but still edible and a great value for money and healthy. Yeah, if you got lamb chops, oh my goodness. And some bacon for $5. Wow, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Uh Sylvie says I got MRIs we were given after the last hurricane. MRIs. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Those foods, those packaged foods. Yeah. Hold on to those if you can, because we may need to be using them now. Grow your own and do a community garden. I wish that's what I want to do in my tiny house village. I want to do a community garden. And I'm no one in this whole neighborhood, in my whole neighborhood for blocks and blocks and blocks, I have not seen anyone doing any gardening. No one. And I'm going to start. My goddaughter, oh, I got to take you up to her place maybe the next live. Maybe I'll do the next live on my phone. She has a huge garden. They've got some of everything. They've got chickens. They've got tree. Oh, I've got to show you guys. It's unbelievable. And I met this couple who has a 20-acre farm, and I want to take you guys up there to see that too. And I want to learn some stuff from them. Janice says if we were smart, we would concentrate on making all these things in America and stop trying to get super rich. America made by Americans. Yeah, we should have been starting this a long time ago, Janice, starting to make the products that we need to keep us going. We need to be making here instead of depending on other countries, especially countries who are our stated enemies. But hey, I'm not in charge, you're not in charge, so what can we say? But this has been a problem for a long time. More and more and more manufacturing has been leaving and going into other countries for decades now, and it really needs to stop. I agree, Janice. All right, Patty, I'm going to take a couple more comments and then I've got to hit the road. Uh, Patty says, I have a whole lot of freeze dried and canned food that I kept when I had kids at home and then parents to keep in case of emergency. Now using it and we don't buy much at the store at all. I really want to learn how to can. When I start my garden, I really, really, really want to learn how to can. I wanted to do a greenhouse in my backyard because I have the space, but I can't really build a greenhouse. And the gardeners who flaked on me were supposed to build me a greenhouse back there, but that's a whole nother story. But you know what? Where there's a will, there's a way. And I think I'm gonna put screens over my gardening. I gotta figure out how to keep the rabbits and the rodents that will be attracted to the food out. But that's why I wanted the greenhouse to keep them out. But I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. Sylvie says, I'm saving the seeds from my garden this year. Started a food forest about a year ago, too. That is great, Sylvie. Great. Martin says, Janice, that won't happen because Americans want outrageous wages. Well, if we could get the cost of things down, people wouldn't need. I'm not saying me because I don't have wages, but if we could get the cost of things down, people wouldn't need outrageous prices. But when you've got rent to $2,500 for a studio, or $2,500, $3,000 for a one bedroom, you need outrageous wages to pay for it. That's the crazy thing. People didn't need outrageous wages back in the day. My first job, I was making, I think it was $1.60 an hour. I got an apartment on that. I didn't have a car at the time, but I got an apartment. I was able to take public transportation. I was able to buy groceries, pay for utilities. Now, I did have a roommate, but I had money left over to go out and do fun stuff still on $1.60 an hour. So, but granted, our apartment, for a beautiful, spacious 2-bedroom apartment in a luxury building, a luxury security building, I think it was $220 a month. And that was considered really outrageous rent. But each of us, we were paying like $110 a month for a beautiful, like I said, in a security building, luxury. I mean, it was a luxurious building, beautiful, with a parking garage underneath. I mean, you had to buzz people in. I mean, it was really $200 a month. That apartment now would easily be $5,000, $5,000 a month, in Oakland. But hey, Jackie, certified shopaholic. Hello, hello. All right, folks. I am going to Graham said, I used to have chickens when I lived up in Humpty Doo and would recommend them to anyone who has the time. Well, I have the time, but I don't want to take the chance because I don't want to draw coyotes even more to the property, with Mowgli and Cuddles. I only go out in the backyard. I only let them out in the backyard when I'm out there with them. And I carry a little shovel around with me even when I'm back there, because a neighbor told me about someone walking her dog and a coyote came up and she grabbed her dog real quick and the coyote snatched the dog out of her arms. So I carry a shovel with me even when I'm in my own backyard now. And sometimes I have these two really big crates, and sometimes I'll let them sit out in the sun for a while, but I lock them tightly into the crates for a little while so they can get a little sun, without me out there. But yeah, I I would love to have chickens, and that was my plan, but that plan has now changed. Um, okay, I will see you guys later. Vaughn says, I'm going to go to Costco and buy a slab of beef, 150, and cut it up myself and end up with 15 to 20. So you can buy a slab of beef? I huh. 15 to 20 steaks. I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out. But my goddaughter and them, they have a freezer, so they buy a quarter of a cow or something and get that for very, very cheap compared to grocery prices. But I don't have big freezer like that to put it in. Uh Sylvie says it says tempeh is fermented soybeans, but it is not tofu. I like it because it has firm texture. Well, I'm going to try it. I am going to try it. Okay. All right, folks, I'm going to go. I know there's a lot of comments and I really want to go over them, but got to go pick up Jess and I will see you guys next week. Love each and every one of you. I'll be working on these recipes and I will be sharing them with you, let you know how they turn out. Oh my goodness. Sylvie says the raccoons are digging in my potatoes. Well, I'll tell you what I did on the leaves of flowers that I grown when I had rabbits coming eating. I got some Tabasco sauce, sorry rabbits, and put it on my flowers. And I'll tell you what, they left him alone, never ate my flowers again. So we'll see. Maybe some Tabasco sauce on the leaves of your of your potatoes might help, Sylvie. All right, loving each and every one of you guys. I am going to head off. If it's your first time in the house, put a number 1 real quick so I can say hello. If you have a channel you want me to shout out, put a C for content and go over and check out Lava Lindy's channel and let's get her monetized and up and going again. And I am going to see you. Have a great week, everyone. Have a great and blessed week. And I love each and every one of you. Thank you for coming in and spending part of your Saturday with me. It caps the end of the week for me. A wonderful week. Excuse me, my throat. I have to get some water. All right, folks. Love each and every one of you. Don't see any ones or C's, so I will see you. Hi, Wanda. Missed you. Hello, hello there, Wanda. All right, I will see you guys next time. Let me see if I can head on out of here and